first things first with Coach Mangini still with us. Nick's laughing at a
Our
joke he
stage
told
manager, Joe, is one of the funniest people I've ever met, man.
Not when it comes at my expense. Not when the jokes are at my expense. Super Bowl champ Amani Toomer is with us. Good morning, Amani. Someone needs to be on my side in commercial breaks. I have chosen you, my friend, to be that guy.
No problem.
Welcome to Team Jedi. All right, here we go. 3 years ago, following a Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, then Falcons offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan stepped off the team plane, having blown the biggest Super Bowl lead of all time. Yesterday, the Niners' now head coach Kyle Shanahan had to make that dreaded walk once again. Niners All-Pro tight end George Kittle said, quote, "It was brutal to see Shanahan hurting after their loss." Nick, did we just watch Kyle Shanahan blow yet another Super Bowl?
Oh, this one's painful. This is the guy I've been calling the best offensive mind in football all year long. He and Andy Reid neck and neck, and one does fear that he just inherited from Andy Reid.
The monkey that was on Andy's back?
The title of brilliant offensive mind, brilliant play designer, and yet has some really odd tendencies in the biggest of spots. And so here's the thing. I can't say Kyle Shanahan blew the game for them. Kyle Shanahan designed the game plan that had him up 20-10, right? Kyle Shanahan did a lot of really good things and made the most of what I consider to be a very limited quarterback. But much like that Atlanta Super Bowl, there are a couple specific moments that you look at and you say, man, what are you thinking? And the end of the first half is a coaching travesty. And I know Coach will tell me why I'm wrong, but you know who won't? John Lynch, who was begging for the same timeout the whole world was. And the message he sent to every phase of his team, quarterback, don't trust you, or else obviously, 2 timeouts, minute 40, 2-minute drive in the Super Bowl in a tie game. We're not controlling the game, a tie game. Running game, don't even trust you really. Because if we can just run for at least 1 first down, there's no chance Chiefs get the ball back. And defense, by the way, is an extra bonus. Don't really trust you, because if the offense fails, I can't trust you with 45 seconds left to stop Mahomes and company from driving the field. But that to me was just a sub-story to the real disaster, which was much like the Atlanta Super Bowl. 2nd and 11, 23-yard line, 3:56 left, up 8. Run the ball and you win the Super Bowl. A field goal wins you the game. 2nd and 5, up 3 in the Super Bowl, inside of 6 minutes. You've just gotten 5 yards running the ball. Hey, Jimmy Garoppolo, drop back and pass. Hey, Jimmy Garoppolo, drop back and pass again. Let's take a minute 3 off the clock. When just the drive before, we only took 3 minutes off the clock. You know why? Because on 2nd down, I said, Jimmy Garoppolo, drop back and pass. And on 3rd down, Jimmy Garoppolo, drop back and pass. They hadn't punted the whole game until their 7th and 8th drives, which went 5 plays and 3 plays, and took a combined 4:07 off the clock with a 10 and then 3-point lead in the Super Bowl. Coach,
hard to argue.
It's bad coaching in that spot. It doesn't mean he's a bad coach. It's bad coaching.
Okay, so it's so easy to look at it now and make these decisions and these judgments on them. But let's look at the end of the first half. All we've talked about is how explosive Kansas City's offense is and how explosive Patrick Mahomes is. So the idea of playing for the last shot, that's not that uncommon. And teams do it all the time. And
they were playing for no shot.
And New England does it all the time. The idea of not making sure that you have the ball at the end of the half. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to make sure that they had the ball. They finished half with the ball, and they didn't give Kansas City an opportunity to score. So you can be mad at them or not mad at them for that decision. And it's not a function of trust or no trust. It's a function of seeing how explosive this Kansas City offense has been and not giving them a chance to get a bunch of momentum going into halftime. I don't think there's any problem with that. When you look at the second half, that play that you described, it was, what was it,
2nd and 5.
2nd and 5. Kansas City responded with blitzes. They had 10 guys in the box. There wasn't much room to run the ball. This ball gets batted down, but he's throwing to a wide open Kittle. Okay, so yeah, it got batted down. The blitz was coming off. You can see the blitz. You can see it coming off the right side, the defense's right side. You're not going to make much headway running the ball. The other thing is you look at the numbers at that point for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he was 18 for 21. He's having a much better game at that point than Patrick Mahomes. So you're mad at him for going with a pass play to a wide open receiver when they're getting a blitz that gets batted down. That's what the issue is. And then defensively, you talk about trusting your defense. And that touchdown drive, they gave up what, a 3rd and 16 and a 3rd and 10?
Yeah.
You would think that your defense, your highly touted defense, would find some answers for those situations.
Amani, where do you fall on this?
Well, I think that, he was way too conservative, Kyle Shanahan. The fact that, if you put another quarterback in there, if you have Tom Brady, you have somebody who you really believe in as an organization,
at the end of the first half?
At the end of the first half, you're not doing that. So in that sense, you're protecting your quarterback because you don't believe in him as much. Not, mind you, George Kittle, the pass interference, that was, a horrible call. But still, you're going to be more aggressive, more proactive. If you believe in your quarterback, you believe, okay, even if we go for it, going into the ending the half, there's still an opportunity to get the ball back in the second half, so you'll be able to make those points up anyway.
What message does it send as an offensive player if you see your coach not call timeout there when you can have a minute 42 timeouts with a chance to take the lead at halftime of the Super Bowl?
Honestly, as a player, I'm saying this guy doesn't believe in us. I mean, this is...
In us or in our quarterback?
In us as an offense, as an entire group, because if you believe in us and you think you want to get us on the field, that means you think that if you get us on the field, we're going to make the difference to win this game. And you took that away from us. You took that away from our whole offensive unit because you don't believe in the quarterback.
But I think in fairness, if you get to the Super Bowl and offensively, that one decision is going to make you change your mind on the head coach.
Yes.
I don't,
you know why? Because in the biggest situations is when, pressure busts pipes, right? In pressure situations, that's when your true colors show. You've won all these other games in the playoffs, haven't really been pushed that much because your defense dominated every game. This is a situation, you're in a team that's equal with you, and this is when your true character shows. You don't tell me how good a quarterback is when he's playing comfortably. You don't tell me how good your offense is when you're playing comfortable. When you're up against it, and this is when your true personality, what your inner thoughts of as a coach about what you feel about your team. And that's why I believe that this is a big deal for the 49ers.
Sometimes it's what you feel about the other team and the other quarterback. And there's a lot of there's a lot of coaches that have looked at the guy on the other side of the field and said, we don't want to give him another opportunity to score. We don't want to change momentum going into halftime.
But we're the better team. Like, you come here with us. I don't come here afraid of them.
If they had called,
who cares about what they're going to do?
Well, look, you could say that. You could say that operate in a vacuum and don't worry about what the other team does.
That's what I do.
But that's not true.
It is true.
No.
No. When we played the Patriots in 07, we weren't worried about Tom Brady. We were worried about us. We feel like if we executed the way we were supposed to, we beat them. We didn't worry about them.
Okay, well, I mean, you could make that argument. There's a lot of great teams that actually do worry about the other opponent.
Okay.
And look, you can say we're going to do what we do until you get someone who does what you do better than you do. Then what do? You just say, oh, we're lost.
You go with who you
hold on. But here's the problem, though. The problem is the calculus is wrong. If you are that afraid of Patrick Mahomes that we don't want to give our offense a chance to score with a minute 40 left because he might get the ball back with 40 seconds left, then what you're saying is, man, 10 points ain't going to be near enough. Yeah. Every time we have the ball, we got to try to score. Every time we have a chance to accumulate points, we better, because we're so terrified.
Nick, but do you hear what you're saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're inherently contradictory. You're saying you're mad at Shanahan for being not conservative enough in the second half, but you're mad at him for being too conservative in the first half.
Yes, because circumstances are different.
No, it's just all it is you're looking at the result and going, oh, well, of course that's a bad decision.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Amani. Real quick. It's not true. It is the same thing with Bill O'Brien in the Texans game. There is no synchronization of thought. In the Texans game, Bill O'Brien, if you're going to kick a field goal on 4th and inches, you're saying we are now in a spot where we are just protecting the lead. You cannot do that and go for the fake punt. If you're Kyle Shanahan and you are saying this is a defense, trust, don't make a mistake game, that's what he said at the end of the first half, then when you have a second half lead of 10 points and then 3 points, run the football. The thoughts are askew. So either call timeout.
So you don't look at the context of the game. You don't look at what the other team is doing defensively. You just big picture it, and it doesn't matter what's happening. Doesn't matter how your quarterback's playing. Doesn't matter what they're doing defensively. It's just like big picture, run the ball, throw the ball, but don't put anything in a context.
Yeah, but if you put it in context, look at how Mahomes was playing up until the fourth quarter. In that context, he was playing abnormally poor. He had made abnormally poor throws. So Andy Reid believed in his quarterback enough to let him overcome his slow start in the first 3 quarters to play like he ordinarily played. So in my opinion, you got to go with what you believe and not always how the game is going. Look, I played in the Super Bowl where we lost to the Baltimore Ravens because Jim Fossil changed our entire game plan going in because he didn't believe in our ability to play against the Ravens defense. Of course, they're a great defense, a lot of Hall of Famers and all that, but I still don't know how they were against us and our team that we played. There's no shame in losing when you lose throwing your fastball. There is a shame when you're throwing your changeup and you're doing all these different tricky things that you didn't do in the past that got you there. That's when I always think about that Super Bowl, and I'm always like, could we have done better?
And I hear you. And
that's the player's mentality.
When you lose a game, there's always going to be some reason why you lost the game. But if you throw a fastball against a great fastball hitter and he hits it out of the park,
no problem.
Everybody's going to be sitting around going, well, why didn't you throw the changeup? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
No, because that's what brought you there. You're a fastball pitcher.
Listen, I think this is the coach mentality versus the player's mentality.
Clearly.
I'm neither. I just have the mentality of that there's one guy who's blown the biggest and the second biggest Super Bowl lead, same guy who's calling plays in both circumstances. Maybe he should change it up a bit.
Absolutely.
And I guess
because at the end of the day, he's got to go.
The head coach of Atlanta doesn't have any accountability, right? It's just the offensive coordinator.
Play caller.